I started out writing about vintage perfume. I started a blog called yesterdaysperfume.com, and then that turned into a book called Scent and Subversion. And 10 years ago, I had no idea that I would have a perfume brand, but I just kept falling down the rabbit hole of perfume and getting more and more obsessed about it. And the next step, since I had already done all the writing I could think about doing for perfume, was to have a brand.
Very nice. So are you the brand director, or like
I'm the creative director and the owner, and pretty much do everything except for compose the fragrances.
Okay.
The person who does that is master perfumer Antoine Lee.
Yes.
I had interviewed him in the book, in the sort of section about the future.
Yes. Because
I thought he was such a visionary perfumer, and we got along really well. And it was really sort of that relationship that was only over the phone that made me think, well, what's the next step? So let's do a perfume brand.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I had no idea how you do any of these things. I'd never owned a business. I'm a writer, like my head is in the clouds.
Right.
So, I made it happen somehow, and I think it was a combination of just like being very obsessed and meeting the right people, and things fell into place. And so the first collection in 2016 is La Belle et la Bête, Beauty and the Beast. And so it's kind of paying homage to the vintage fragrances that made me fall in love with perfume, but he modernized them.
Remind me, what fragrances were that kind of, you say, it had a big impact on you?
Yeah, so a lot of the Germain Cellier fragrances, Fracas, Bondy, some Lanvin fragrances like Mycin, Humeur, these very animalic, sensual, intense fragrances. Leather, whatever it was, I feel like in the vintage fragrances, they all had signatures and they all had personalities. And I heard someone say that there's 6,000 releases a year now of perfume. Back then, when they made a perfume, they really meant it. It was something that time and thought, and so it was special. And you can smell that, even with the fragrances where the top notes kind of fell apart or whatever. It really smelled like this had a personality. And so I really gravitated to that aspect of it. It wasn't so much that I'm trying to go back to the past. I just want to go back to that quality and obsession and creativity.
The art part of it.
Yeah, exactly. So the first collection pays homage to some of those vintage fragrances. So Belle de Jour, Night Flower, and Mabette have that interesting contrast that I found where, it's kind of like the polite part on the top and then the dirty part on the bottom. Guerlain said that perfume should smell like the underside of my mistress, right? So all of these fragrances have a version of that, but slightly more modern. And then in 2016, 2017, the gender fluid collection. There was a lot of conversation around gender and do I want to be characterized by gender. So Mix and Mix Triple X.
Where that's the name comes from.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah, so if it's like instead of Mr. or Ms, it's Mix.
Yeah.
And then this is the sort of more animalic flanker of that one. So it has the similar scent profile, but instead of like a Venezuelan cacao, it has a very dark and spicy Trinidad cacao. And it also has, as you know, because you have it, the natural ambergris.
Yes, and is the highest concentration of natural ambergris?
It's like 7%.
Right, 7%. Yeah.
And you smell it.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. One of my favorites. I have actually 2 bottles.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I don't want this to disappear. I want another one.
No, I never changed the limited edition, so I think people I don't know why I did that. Anyway, it still says limited edition, even though it sells higher than that. So that's the 2017, 2019, and then in 2020, when the pandemic hit and everybody was depressed and sad, I thought, okay, this is a good time to bring out one of my favorite notes, which is green notes, and happy and cheerful.
Makes sense.
And so Antoine sort of created this fragrance that is green from top to bottom. Light green, dark green, medium green, bitter green, sweet green. It's just everything is green. There's one floral note in that. That's narcissus, but even that's green. So
I see.
yeah,
Beautiful.
So that's 2020, and then in 2022. Yeah, the super spicy Scorpio rising.
Why is Scorpio rising?
Okay.
It has something to do with zodiac sign or no?
It has a lot to do with a lot of different things. This is how I think about the perfume. I always wanted to create a fragrance called Scorpio Rising.
Okay.
Because I like Scorpios. And
because
I
am a Scorpio rising. My rising sign is Scorpio. Yes, I have it.
Oh, you do?
I have it.
Yeah, so I like Scorpios and I like astrology, and I also like, there's this avant-garde filmmaker, Kenneth Anger, and he has a crazy film called Scorpio Rising that you can watch on YouTube, but it's really wild.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of has like, it's a motorcycle gang, and so it's got, so this kind of has the smoke and the danger and all of that stuff from the film as well.
Oh, beautiful.
But yeah, but also Scorpios, you don't always know they're a Scorpio until they sting you, because they seem really sweet and cuddly until you F with them, and then bye. And then you know, oh wait, that's a scorpion in my shoe. But this fragrance has that same, it kind of starts off, but then it does the opposite. It gets softer, and it's a kind of a cloud of smoke and all these things that are really so lovely.
Do you have like, what is that the newest release?
No. So the newest one is Delta of Venus.
Okay.
And this is a very unusual one for the line, because usually I think people who know the brand associate it with like kind of leather and woods and maybe animalic or something like that. Yeah, but I really love guava. And so I wanted a fruity fragrance that was still part of the brand story. So I kind of went to the Garden of Eden and rewrote that, just rewrote the Bible, that's all. In this garden, Eve owns the garden. She didn't get cast out. She's hanging out with the snake. She's writing stories. So when I was thinking about that, then I thought about Anais Nin and the Delta of Venus. Like, where would a guava grow? What's a tropical name? And so it all kind of tied in together. And so she's kind of the modern Eve. Yeah, she's telling these bad, naughty stories, but she doesn't get punished for it. She gets a publishing contract.
There you go.
That's the story of this. And there's even another funny story, which is that the perfumer had never smelled a guava before.
Oh, Antoine had never smelled a guava.
I guess in Paris you don't eat guavas a lot. So I shipped him Mexican guavas, and he studied them, like from the fresh to the really ripe, and he composed a guava accord for me.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Are you Mexican?
No, I'm half Vietnamese actually.
Oh, you're half Vietnamese.
Yeah,
wow.
I was born in Vietnam.
Oh wow, beautiful country. I traveled in 2015.
Yes.
All the way to the border of China. It's an absolutely beautiful country.
Beautiful country, interesting people.
Yes.
The food is amazing. I mean, Vietnamese people are wild. There's a reason why no matter how big the country is, no one can conquer Vietnam.
No, because they have that spirit.
People are.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's Antoine here. Have you seen him?
I have, and it's so funny. I always forget to get a picture with him. So I finally remembered. Oh my God, I have to get a picture. We've been working together for 9 years. And I have like one picture with us together.
Isn't that crazy? So.
You don't see it so often.
Well, it's not that. It's just I usually hate pictures, so I always, but I forget too because we're so busy catching up or